You, you. Hi, I'm doing this now. Hi guys. I know it's not Monday night, it's Wednesday afternoon, and I'm doing this now. I'm just gonna record it and I'll post it and I'll be on YouTube, it'll be on Facebook Live. And Monday I'll be here at 6. It's just life has gotten really again, I think I mentioned this before, aging parents, wife and kids, and schedules all been changed. Anyhow, let's talk. Let's talk today. Um, I'm gonna talk about this stuff and this stuff a bit. But yeah, let's talk about why this stuff is so expensive, why running's become so expensive, and what we can do about it. But it's January 15th, the day after January 14th. Valentine's Day is a month away. Um, but yeah, it's the cold season, which is not really cold right now. Quickly, I don't know if wherever you got where everybody on here is living, Edmonton's back to what it's been for the last 2 or 3 years, and it's hard to get used to. It used to just get cold and stay cold. It'd be like minus 25 or 20, minus 20 to minus 25 for like 3 months. February would be minus 30, and that would be fine. And then it get warm up, and we'd get lots of snow in like probably February, March, sometimes before Christmas, but sometimes not at all before Christmas. But now it's sort of like the freeze and melt and some freezing rain, and it's you can't get used. You start getting used to minus 25. Whoops, it's minus 6 or even 0, or I think it's supposed to be above 0 tomorrow. Um, it's hard to figure that out. The one thing you have to figure out is it's going to be slippery all the time. Is there's going to be ice. It's not used to be not all the time, not everywhere, but now it's like right now. I think today is probably not so bad. I noticed a lot of it just broken up and it's not as slippery, but there's still those parts where you need the traction, right? And then next week we'll probably get, I think we're getting minus 30 this weekend or minus 25 this weekend. Then next week back warm again. And a little bit of snow, not much. The cross country skiers are happy apparently, but we could use a lot more snow. I'm not because my snowblower just broke down, so I won't be using that. Anyhow, so I'm going to suggest if you happen to live in the prairies, apparently Toronto's going to get like 1 million centimeters of snow. Get your traction out. So let's talk about that right now. I just wanted to keep this short because do I have to talk for like hours? No. But the expense of running. At one time when I first started running in like 1905, what okay, 19, I say 1996. A pair of shoes was like $100. That's probably about the average price. It was $100. And clothing and stuff wasn't that expensive yet. There seemed to be a lot more of it, but it was affordable. Didn't break the bank. You didn't have to hide your Visa bill from your significant other. It was you could do it on a pretty good budget. Races weren't super expensive. You got a t-shirt. The only time you got medals was if you did like a half or full marathon or you did an Ironman or something. But for 5 and 10 Ks for fun runs, you got a t-shirt, usually cotton. Um, Now then it became you had to have technical fabric for those t-shirts, right? That increased the price of entering races. As a race director, I've noticed that it's expensive. Timing chips and chip bibs and chip timing chips. I'm guessing at one time people would just write numbers down. There's some things you can do with a computer that's a lot less expensive, but as soon as you hire a company to do chip timing, that's a lot of money. So that adds on to the price of admission to a race. And then the bling everybody wants, right? Everybody wants these. I like this shirt. There's a race. It's called Run for Home. It's there's a whole story behind it. But the neat thing about it is, if you register for the race, you had to say you wanted a T-shirt and you wanted to pay for that T-shirt and you wanted that size, and there were no exchanges. But that was it. You paid your base price for the entering the race. Then if you wanted a T-shirt or a shirt, it cost more, which I think is the way it should go. Because I mean, how many T-shirts do you want? Again, if you did a race, you want that shirt, right? You want something to say, hey, you did that. Medals, I don't get that. It's a lot of people won't do races now unless there is a medal. My first try as a race director, I didn't have medals. I had toques. That was it, toques, and made sure there's stuff along the course and food at the end. And then last year I bailed and went for the medals, and oh my God, they're expensive. Yeah, so if you're don't ever don't have, even if you've ever thought about doing this, don't bandit a race. Last year, I'm going to talk about my race real quick. I scheduled 200 people. That's all I wanted. 200 people, including kids. It was going to be 200. Got 200 medals, and then I got calls saying, "Well, Warren, can we just register and just run and not get a medal?" You got 200 people plus going through a finish line. And you got people, volunteers handing out medals. They're going to give medals to everybody. So somebody's going to end up running out. So yeah. So if you're going to don't bandit races at all. I know they're expensive, but pick your poison and be more selective. Where when I first started, I registered for everything. Now, I'm picky. I don't register for everything, and I try to register early so I get that discount because most races now have especially marathons. If you register for Vancouver last fall, or even as soon as they started registration, a lot less expensive than if you wait till like now or say April. And don't wait till April because Vancouver will probably be sold out. My story is if any of you are thinking about doing Vancouver, I won't be doing the Vancouver half this year. I'm going to do the Sun Run, or yeah, the Vancouver Sun Run, which is the week before. For some reason, a combination the week before is less expensive than for the Vancouver BMO or the BMO Vancouver. I really want to do that half marathon, but again, finances. I'm looking at the prices, and yeah, it saves me a lot of money for accommodation. I found a sweet Airbnb close to the start finish line for, well, for I think 3 nights is going to cost me just, I think over $800. Where if I was looking for the weekend of the Vancouver marathon weekend, I'm looking at that at minimum 15 to 14 to $1,500, more like 2,000 plus. Hotels are crazy. Even the ones that are sponsoring are part of the race. And beware what they do with that is if you register through the BMO's um, selected accommodation, they keep the first, if you decide to cancel or can't do it, they keep the first night. I don't know why. So if you can't go, if you get sick or something, guess what? You're out $300. So yeah, so be careful about that. But yeah, so I'm going to do that, and then I'll come back to here, St. Albert slash Edmonton, and there's a half marathon here in St. Albert. So save money, do local. Look around what you got where you are. There's lots of races. I mean, Edmonton's crazy. I also work for the Runners events team, so I know that for sure. There's races every weekend. There's multiple races every weekend. So you don't have to travel anywhere. You can drive, I guess, if you take the bus or SkyTrain or LRT, but cheap, cheaper than flying somewhere, paying for a hotel, paying for meals. That's why I love Airbnb because you can cook yourself. You don't have to go to restaurants, but still, it's do local, support their local races. There's some really amazing ones. There's some fun ones. Do the Terry Fox run. It's free, right? So just donate for sure. They usually have pretty neat t-shirts. Of course, the last few years have been designed by Ryan Reynolds, which is really cool, right? So yeah, pick stuff like that and get back to volunteer. I've said this before, but if you're doing races, volunteer for a race. I saw that last year too, which is really weird. Donations for stuff for fundraising was way down, which I understand because its cost of living is high. But those donations for a lot of stuff is I mean, even for fun events, there was the Candy Cane Lane thing for Christmas. We ran through there. Take something to donate. And if you're doing a race, volunteer at the Terry Fox Run. But donate because again, every race I saw was just begging for volunteers. And it's without volunteers, races don't happen. Usually what happens is if there's no volunteers, events guys do that. And there's only like maybe 4 of us. So for course marshals, hydration stations, start finish line, um, you're going to see signs. That's it. And I volunteered at a triathlon, and one of the water stations, they had a table with water on it. So if you're on your bike, you have to stop and you don't have somebody handing that off to you. So volunteer it doesn't take a lot of your day. There's usually bling involved, food, and there's appreciation from the people taking part in the race. So volunteer. Anyhow, so the cost of stuff is just that's why stuff's gone up. But even just the stuff that we use, um, shoes, again, it used to be like $100. There are some sales around where you can get less than that. And if you're a person that can have likes minimal shoes, yes, they're a little less expensive, like $130. But everything else, and of course, carbon fiber shoes and all their sort of similar products like that, because there's now nylon fiber midsoles. There's others that are almost. you're talking $300+ right? That's a lot of money. And if you change shoes every, say, 400 kilometers, like me, that's $300 every 3 or 4, well, say 4 months. And plus, what they're saying now, I've said this before, what they're saying now is, yeah, buy a carbon fiber shoe. Just use it for your fast training and use it for race day, nothing else. Buy another pair of shoes for about, say, $200 for all your other training. And guess what? Both shoes will probably wear out about the same time. So that's going to be, say, 300, 200, 500 to $600 every 4 or 5 months. Even if you do like 8 months, that's still a lot of cash. So if you want a carbon fiber shoe, if you want that and the promise of being faster, sure. Just first of all, try them out because not everybody's really enamored with them after they buy them. And you don't have to go Nike. I don't like saying brands, but there's a lot of reasons I don't like Nike, and we'll go into that another time. Anyhow, so the expensive shoes. So how many shoes do you need, right? Again, we always say 2 shoes anyway. So you can rotate your shoes. Shoes used to have a problem where the cushioning would not work as well if you use the same shoe day after day after day after day. Because of course you sweat, they get wet, they get dirty. I think that's a fallacy now. I think the technology is better, but still it's nice to rotate your shoes. I think it works better. Your shoes will last longer for sure. Instead of 400 kilometers for one shoe, well, guess what? It probably work out for, or say 4 months, will work out to 8 months. So that's an option. Save your stuff, look after your stuff, look after your shoes. Never, ever, ever throw your shoes in the washing machine. That works. Let them dry naturally. Be comfortable with the dirty shoe. Really, you don't really need to have clean shoes to do races unless you're sponsored and you're going to win. Who cares? I've never really cleaned my shoes. I'll if they do get muddy, I'll just take them out, turn the hose on the bottom of the shoe, hang them up. We have a clothesline. Actually, it's one of those umbrella things. I'll just let them dry naturally. I'll stuff some paper in them loosely so they don't ruin the shape of the shoe. And fine. But a dirty shoe, whatever. A dirty shoe is a shoe you've used for a run, for a race. Again, watch for sales, watch for events. We don't have sidewalk sales anymore. Some places do. Fast Tracks in Edmonton has, and usually has some pretty cool deals. I know Tech Shop usually has, they'll have older models. But what's happening now, and I'm not sure what other stores are doing about this, but what's happening is when the new shoe comes out, how does this work? Because used to what happened, we'd get a new shoe, like we'd get a new shoe from, say, New Balance, we'd automatically lower the price of the older shoe. So if the new shoe or the older shoe is 250, we get the New Balance 860s for 260, or the same price, 250. We would knock down the price to maybe $200 for that older version, right? Well, what's happening is the new shoes are coming in as more expensive. So we just leave the older shoe at the same price, at the price it was. So it'll be 250 all the time. And you'll see the newer shoe for 260. We're thinking, okay, you'll probably buy the older ones until they're gone. But that's not really, I don't really like that. It's like buying a car, right? If the car is a 2025, well, hopefully you knock down the price for the 2024, right? Not just say, okay, it's the price it was. We just increased the price for the new one. Anyhow, so watch for that. Watch for sales. There's usually some stuff online that's a little bit more less expensive, but make sure it's a shoe that you know. Don't just randomly buy a shoe that your best friend has because that's not going to work. You know that. You want to try the shoe on. So yeah, and make sure you save receipts. Make sure you doesn't work, return them because yeah, if you don't have receipts, most stores will have your sale online anyhow, saved for you anyhow. But it's nice to have. One friend told me with your phone, you can save receipts on your phone because a lot of stores will ask, do you want your receipt on printed or on your emailed? Get an email, put it on your phone, have a file with all your receipts in there that you want to save. Bingo, you don't have to worry about saving little pieces of paper. So the tip there. When you do races, if they do have stuff, save that stuff. Okay, it's included in your price of admission. Usually it's a little bit less expensive than buying new stuff. And then just save it. There's a shirt I've got here. I'm not sure how old it is. Let me take a look. Because everybody did this race still has a shirt and loves a shirt. It's a New Balance shirt I got. Does it have the year on here? 2014, year I retired from CN. 2014. That's unreal. That's a decade ago, and it's still perfect. And it's that perfect uh part between stupid cold and just a little cold. It's just that perfect shirt. I don't have to double or triple layer this thing. It lasts forever. I never ever throw it in the dryer. I wash it in cold water, hang to dry, and it's lasted me a decade. And yes, I do have record albums that are older than probably most of you guys watching this. So I save stuff. But yeah, save your stuff, use it. I'm gonna say winter stuff. Again, you're only gonna use it for like, well, for us in Edmonton, probably 6 months. Okay, maybe not 6 months, maybe more like 4 or 5. But again, you put it away for the next season, right? So if you buy a winter shoe like the Saucony, aha, Peregrine Ice. Plus, I've had these probably for 3 years, and yeah, just they haven't hit the limit, and if the insole is perfect, nothing's broken down yet. So save it. Yes, I think these probably cost me probably $200, maybe not. And yeah, okay, they got rocks on them. But yeah, so right on. I know this one. One thing I found, I've never ever had this to have noticed this happen to a shoe before. Maybe it's because I've had them for so long. Certain way through, but it hasn't worn right through. So do I buy a new pair of shoes because that looks like that? Who cares? Nobody looks at your feet when you're running. Okay, if you work at the running room, you do, because I do. I will stop people on the trail and ask them about their shoes because that's my life. And I don't even work at the store anymore. I just randomly do that. But yeah. So yeah, and again, save your shoes, look after them. Save your clothes, look after them. Cold water, hang dry. Save your stuff you get from races. Again, I put on a race. My race is like $35. You get a toque. Perfect for the winter. Yeah. I like again as a race director, I want stuff that people will use, not stuff that people just hang on their wall randomly. Because who cares? Nobody's gonna see that, right? You're not gonna your best friends aren't gonna come over and say, hey, can I go to your bedroom and see your medals? Yeah, whatever. But if it's a marathon medal, yes, you're gonna show it off. Or an ultra marathon or Boston or New York, right? But yeah, so save your stuff. A lot of people, a lot of places now are doing buffs, which again are great. If you never used a buff before, I'm horrible at putting these on things on. Mostly I just put it around my neck. I'll keep pull it around my neck, stuff it on the top of my jacket, keeps me warm. So yeah, so do that. Again, other races. This is just for what it was called Advent. One of our local promoters or race directors, if you know Sinister Seven, they do this every year. They do an advent calendar for running, and at the end you get a cap. Of course, you have to register and pay for it, but again, a cap. That's part of the thing. So it's nice to do. So yeah, and do other stuff. Yeah, so watch the price, save your money. Don't register for every race in the world. Register early. Have those goal races figured out. And yeah, if you're thinking Edmonton, register now because you're going to go up in price. And plan your year. Okay, so that's all I was going to talk about. This took me, I don't know how many minutes. Just maybe 30 minutes. Anyhow, I'll talk Monday night. I want to talk about, because it's going to get cold again. Some of you I know are training for the Hypo Half Marathon in your neighborhood. There's other winter races as well. Edmonton has two of them. There's the Hypo Half on February 2nd and February 16th. The forecast for those 2 dates is -16 Celsius, which is not so bad. If you're standing around working in a race like that, if you're volunteering in a race, dress warm because you're not running. And also there's another thing called, I think it's called the Cold Dead Run or Dead Cold Run. It's in February as well, and it's got a 5, 10 and a half as well. And yeah, it's again, remember when you run in the cold, dress for 10 degrees warmer than it is. That's my daughter in the background. She's apparently got a cold. Okay, she's got a real bad cold. Anyhow, so yeah, dress for that. But -16, again, this is something else I just figured out recently as well. Because I've always said I can run, I can run anything, but comfortable is +20, -20. Below that, yes, I can do that with the wind chill, and I just have to dress more. But that's my comfort zone. I went for a run on, I think it was Monday or Tuesday, or maybe it was last week. It was -20, and I think, oh my God, I can't go out. It's too cold. Okay, I'm 66. I feel the cold a little bit more maybe, but I dressed in 3 layers, and I was boiling. I was cooking. So yeah, there's apps online. There's apps on the phones. I've got one. It's called Dress Your Run or something, and it tells me what to wear as usually dead on. Sometimes they don't really understand -35 because they will say, just wear a beanie. you'll be fine. But you've seen the video I posted on YouTube and Facebook and everywhere about how to dress. My friend Tess Owens did for me. Pay attention to what she says. And yeah, so make sure you get out and run. So we'll talk Monday. We'll talk about I'll come up with something. Actually, if you think of something you want to learn, text me or send me a message, email me, whatever. Facebook message me because that's why I'm here. Monday. And